Alright, here at NXG Combat Sports Clanton location, kind of excited about doing the first video in the building. Got a couple questions, gonna answer them today. Before I do that, shout out Sinners Saints Clothing Apparel, faith-based MMA, BJJ gear and apparel, sinnerssaints.com. We put it in everything, so just go check out NXG Combat Sports Clanton, whatever, you'll find a link to it. Man, I'm just so impressed with this women's only room. Anywho, you know what, YouTube? Let's look at the whole gym right now. Massive main floor in here. New bags, pads, everything's clean. I mopped this thing twice already today. Miss Angel mopped it before we got here this morning. This place stays clean. Pro shop, everything always on tap. Let's look at the lobby real quick. Not quite done yet in here, but place is dope. Bathrooms are remodeled. I'm not gonna take you over there right now. I wanna get into my video. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna walk out here on the mats, find me a nice comfy spot to sit. NXG Combat Sports. We are also part of Adopt a Cop. Check out their website. We are all about improving training and offering training, you know, however we can help. So, give me a nice little comfy spot right here. My question was, prepping for a jiu-jitsu competition. There's two portions to this, all right? And I can just tell you what I do and what I like to tell the students to do. There's some science to it, but it's not an exact, and some people like to do things different. You know, you kind of have to mold certain things to what you do, but in general and as a group, I'll tell you what we do. I break it into two things, on the mat and off the mat. So first, on the mat is 1 minute positionals. And 1 minute positionals is kind of a broad term, but really it's like, hey, 1 minute from the guard, swap. 1 minute from inside the guard, you know, with your partner. Side control, dominant, non-dominant, half guard, dominant, non-dominant. And you set your goals, like maybe your goal is to pass on top. The goal on bottom is to sweep. You know, make sure you know each other's goals. That way you can shut it down and achieve your own goals. You'll go with that 1 minute at a time. And you can break those down into days. Hey, today we're just doing these positions. We're going to do it 5, 6, 7, 8 times each. Or you can run through everything, every practice. Hey, the first 15 minutes of practice are just 1 minute positional rolls. All right? And do standing in that too. I see a lot of guys that aren't doing 1 minute wrestling. It's kind of a part of tournament. Not everybody sits down, right? I kind of like to think that if I sit down, a couple things have happened. One, I've either injured myself, I've got tired, or I just want Thor to kill a kitten. And I never want Thor to kill a kitten. So I'm going to wrestle you. Just, if you meet me at tournament, it's coming. I'm probably going to try to wrestle you. Or I'll sit down because I forgot what I said and I got lazy. You know, but anywho, and 1 minute position, 1 minute escape versus finish. So earlier I was talking about 1 minute positionals. That's passing, sweeping. That's not what this is here. I want escape or finish. So this is like I'll go in the gym getting ready for tournament and I'll grab 3 guys. Hey, you 1 minute you're gonna get my arm and I'm gonna escape it. You the next minute you're gonna get the other arm and I'm gonna escape it. And then, you know, I escape a lot more than I like to finish in practice. I like to escape more. But then, you know, I might swap up. Hey, I'm gonna go 1 minute. I'm just gonna try to finish you. But lock up your arms first. Don't just extend your arm and let me have it and you try to escape. This time I really want you to fight it and I'm gonna try to finish it, you know. Having partners that aren't getting ready for competition sometimes are a little better because you can abuse them a little bit more. You know, they're not working on escaping or they're not working on certain specific. You can work on your specifics a little bit more with those people. If that makes sense. So escape, 1 minute escape versus finish. You can put them on your back. You can let them mount you and isolate an arm. You can get in the pit stop position for triangles and escape, things like that. And once you do several rounds of that, I would move to the round time rolling. So you look at the rules for whatever belt, whatever division you're going to be in, and roll for that amount of time. You can either start standing, you can start on the ground. You know, after your 1 minute positional, I don't really think it matters a whole ton. I don't want to run the risk of getting hurt in training, so I kind of like to either move to the knees. If I did 5 1-minute rounds of just wrestling, I'm probably not going to start my round time rolling standing up. It would just kind of depend, especially if I don't really have anybody who's competing in my own weight division. I'm not going to try to wrestle for 6 minutes with a bigger guy, and run the risk of him, running over my knee, taking me down or something like that. Or him sprawling real hard, my arm getting stuck, and then I tweaked my shoulder. It really doesn't help me get ready for tournament. It kind of hinders me, slows me down. Drill your sharp stuff. I hear coaches talk about, find your weaknesses and get better at them, and that should happen. But your good stuff, don't neglect what you're good at. Like, keep going with that, man, he's really good at arm bars. Yeah, dude, I'm so good at arm bars, I don't even really need to drill him anymore. Get better at them, arm bar everybody. Hell, let them know it's coming, arm bar them, right? Then when it comes to your weaknesses, you are sometimes kind of biased to your weaknesses. You know the training partners you can go to and be like, hey, tell me where I'm not good. Tell me where you think I can improve. And they're not going to lie to you. Find those guys and stick with them through training camp. Let their honesty flow onto you and drill into that. Listen to them. Like, even white belt partners can say, hey, man, I feel like I shouldn't have been able to stand up with you right there. I feel like you should have been able to hold me down. Like, they don't have to be a coach to tell you something sometimes for you to, for you to get it. All right, off the mat training. Steady state cardio. You want to build a baseline. So like first thing in the morning, if you got time, go run 30 minutes. Get on the bike for 30 minutes. Use that time to meditate, but use that to build up a certain level of cardio to where the rest of your cardio is easier to do. Your HIIT cardio, your interval training, whatever. It's easier if you have a certain level of steady state going into that. They both help each other out. Do them both. All right, and do your interval training. Do your 15 on, 15 off, 30 on, 15 off interval training. Get those things done. That way those bursts, blow your lungs out a little bit to where you can fight that blown out feeling a little bit longer. That also is going to help with your adrenaline dump, recovering from your adrenaline dump, because you're going to have a lot of people have adrenaline dumps at tournament. I'm not going to say everybody does, but a lot of people do. In weight training. I say weight training because I mean strength training, but strength training can come from rolling. Like, you can do body weight stuff, and just your regular jiu-jitsu is going to make you a stronger individual. But for competition, you probably should be lifting weights. But you need to lift according to what you're doing as far as your weight goes. So, like, if you need to lose 20 pounds for competition, maybe your competition's in January and you're battling off Thanksgiving and Christmas meals going into that tournament. You're probably a little heavy. Don't go in there and be benching 80% of your max. Do a little bit of math on that. Do a little bit. Ask your strength and conditioning coach, hey, while I'm trying to lose weight, of course, lean muscle promotes fat burning. What do I need to be lifting at? What do I need to be doing? I never max during comp. I really hate maxing anyways, but I do it sometimes just so I can get my percentages for my lifts. But 40%, 30%, getting high reps and stuff, it's not going to hurt you. It's going to help. It may not always help to be, that way. Like, if I go to a tournament and their lowest weight class is what I walk around at, I'm probably going to lift heavier than I would if I go to a tournament and they're going, I have the ability to cut 10 or 15 pounds to get into a different weight class. So lift accordingly to what weight class you're going to, but don't stop lifting. Keep building lean muscle. Stay on lean muscle. Dumbbells versus, and this is getting picky with certain things, but closer to, when I'm in camp, I don't use straight bars quite as much. I do like a little dumbbell work I like to do more dumbbell work because sometimes you're isolating, one limb, and you are pushing at awkward angles. It's not always, just a pure bench press. You are at different angles. So I do like to play with dumbbells and push them in different areas and stuff. As long as I don't feel like I'm injuring myself, you're good. That'll help out some. Know your weight. Always know your weight and how you're progressing in your weight. So if you're going to lose 10 pounds, if you can start 10 weeks earlier, and you can eat in a deficit to where you're not going to be losing muscle tone and stuff, but you're going to be decreasing your body fat. 3,500 calories in a week is not a huge deficit, and you're not going to be damaging your strength a lot. So, if you can lose that pound a week, stay on top of that and do that pound a week versus just crashing in the past, the last week or something like that. That's a terrible idea. If you're at a tournament where you can weigh in the day before and you do want to do a couple pounds, when I was younger, I would tell you, man, do it all. Do all 10 pounds that day. Be the big guy the next day. That tournament might draw out and you might need that a little bit of extra energy. 2 or 3 pounds, yeah, sure. Hit it. I'm not a big component of cutting a ton of weight anymore. Like an MMA fight, the longest you're going to be in there is 15 minutes. Can you do a practice cut and run 15 minutes and make sure you've got that endurance? That's practice a little bit easier, but we're talking about jiu-jitsu tournament, so it's kind of rough unless Smooth Comp or somebody's throwing your division out there a month in advance. You don't know how long or how deep you're going to go in that. You don't know, you might be going to one that has overtime rules, and there's no telling how long you're going to be fighting. So to me, I'd rather walk at the optimum weight and be in the best shape I can for that weight, and know the rules. Maintain your rules, and make sure your coaches know their rules. If you can, spend some time in the divisions outside of yours and kind of understand their rules. Like when we roll into a tournament, if we got 4 guys on rings and we got 1 or 2 coaches that went there with us, you might have to sit in that coach's chair. Number one is try to understand their rules. Everything pretty much is the same with, hey, you got your points, buddy. That's most important. Understand and tell your fighter when they got their points and how much time is left. Like if you can do that, you're pretty much good. But it would help if you're a blue belt and you sit on a ring watching a white belt or a purple belt watching a blue belt. It doesn't hurt to know their rules a little bit, so you can give them some advice throughout that. And always be in shape. Like the better shape that you're in, like jiu-jitsu will get you in shape. Training for competition will get you in better shape. But if you're in shape before you go into training camp, your techniques are just going to get sharper sooner and your peak is just going to be much better. My opinion. Some people can argue with it, and whatever. Last thing I'm going to hit on here is pack your gear. Make a list like a week out. That way, so if you think of something, you can fix your list. If you're going to be traveling a long way, especially, put 2 gis in your bag. Put 2 belts in your bag. If you don't own 2 belts because well, my coach only gave me 1 belt. Dude, buy another belt. Wear 2 belts. It also helps because you should be washing your belt, so you can wear wear 2 belts. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Wear 2 belts. Take 2 belts. Take 2 gis. Take 2 sets of rash guards. Take 2 sets of shorts. In case one of them doesn't meet standard, you might pull your rash guard out, put it on, not know you have a hole in it. They might make you take that rash guard off, have another one in your bag. Or you put it on, if it's perfect, everything's going great, but the guy that's in your division that's on your team, he left his bag in the car got towed because of some things happen. Take 2 of everything. Also, take you some protein bars or like some fruit snacks, stuff like that. Again, you might be there all day. Stay plenty hydrated. It goes back to the weight. Get your weight to where it's supposed to be, to where you can still hydrate and you're not tearing things up. Like a lot of injuries I think can be avoided because people are not properly hydrated. Things don't hold together the best, when we're bending and pulling on things if you're not hydrated. I'm not saying you can avoid all injury that way. I'm just saying it does help if you're better hydrated. I hope that answers your questions. Anything else, just shoot me an inbox, guy, and I'll get back in here and I'll do it again. Be safe, everybody. Follow NXG Combat Sports on Facebook, Instagram, the client location. We have them on all sorts of platforms. Just go into whatever platform you're doing, type in NXG Combat Sports. You're going to find one of our pages. Please follow it. Today's shout out goes to Centers of Saints Clothing or Fight Gear and Apparel. It's a faith-based MMA and jiu-jitsu company, so we do gear. Also, let me plug in here Adopt a Cop. Sorry. Let me plug Adopt a Cop in here too. Check them out if you're a gym owner. Check them out, please. They got all the stuff on the website. I don't want to speak too much on it and be wrong, but essentially what will happen is if there's law enforcement out there that can't get training for whatever reason, they can't afford it, whatever, they're trying to train on their own dime, their department's not helping them with it, that agency will help them with their tuition and stuff until blue belt. Any questions, comments, concerns, inbox me, leave a comment, whatever. Peace.